Welcome to AskGMBN on a very special week because we have got a brand new presenter, Andrew Dodd. Welcome. How does it feel?
Feels good. Feels weird being on this side of the...
Yeah, it's probably a bit weird for you, but we've got some great questions, and obviously Doddy here knows the answers to a lot of tech stuff because he is our tech man. So I'm expecting some good answers. Bit of pressure. That's all right. A little bit of pressure. So let's get into the first questions. First one here, Doddy, is from Michael Cooper. If you're new to MTB trails as a rider and you ride and your legs get really sore after your first ride, should you generally miss a day after that first ride so you can recover, or should you just kind of push through it?
I guess that kind of depends if you're actually training or just riding. I'd be inclined to have a recovery ride. Just go out, have an easy ride, get your legs fixed, and then hit it hard the next day.
Yeah, it's true, because if you are training, rest is a very important part of it. You've got to think of it like a tripod. You've got your training, you've got your nutrition, and your rest. If you don't use the rest, it will fall over. So if you're training, the rest is important. But like Doddy says, there is a certain point, if you're just getting new to riding, you've got to kind of just push on through a little bit of the pain to start getting comfortable.
It's going to make you stronger.
What is it? No pain, no gain.
That's the one.
Something like that. Right, Evortney09 says, I love jumps, but my bars always spin, even though I've thoroughly cleaned the stem and bars and tightened the bolts. Hang on a minute, what, he can't help but do bar spins? That's a good thing.
I'd be happy with that.
If you can't help but, I don't know if that's what he means.
I don't think it is. I think either his stem is twisting on the steerer tube or his bars, even worse.
His bars are spinning. His bars are spinning, not spinning. Yes.
So yeah, tightening the bolts safely is the most important thing. You don't want to over tighten any of those bolts. If you're unsure about that, I'd speak to your local bike shop.
Yeah, that's a good point, yeah, because you can go too far, and they definitely shouldn't be twisting in the stem. That's not cool. It's a bad feeling. I've had that when you take off from a jump and you're like, whoa. Oh my God. Okay, Sawyer Holt says, I'm 13 and have a hardtail. All my trails are half uphills, quarter flat, and quarter downhill. It's very precise.
Quite specific.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. But the downhill is the best you've ever seen. So he wondered if he should move to an enduro bike from his hardtail, because would that be better for that sort of trail?
To be honest, you can learn everything you need to on a hardtail, and that'll make you the best rider. But perhaps not going straight for an enduro bike would be better. Go for a trail bike with something less travel that's going to be more beneficial for your climbing and the not downhill bits.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Jack Finnegan, is there a difference? Wow, this is a tech question, Doddy. You can prepare yourself. Is there a difference between all the different linkage systems on full suspension bikes? Martin recoils in fear from technology.
Where do you start? Yes, there's major significant differences in all suspension designs. Some are based purely around pedalling efficiency, some are designed to take the impact the best. But where do you start?
I think maybe
this is a separate video.
This may be a separate video, so great question. But why don't we use it to throw to our suspension jargon explained video, where you can find out an awful lot more about all that linkage stuff.
High-speed compression is going to be impacts that make the suspension move quickly, such as braking bumps. Low speed is going to be anything that you do to the bike, body input such as braking or pumping into a corner or over a roller.
Right, next question is from Samayo W, and he's saying, do you think downhillers will start to use dropper posts in the future? Because they're already using lockouts on their suspension on some of the pedally tracks.
Do you know what? I don't think it's going to be that far away. You know, every little marginal gain you can get. Yeah. But if you skip back a few years to Peter Marisburg at the World Cup, Cedric Grassi was seen with a dropper post on his bike. So perhaps he knew something we didn't.
Yeah, and that guy, he's ahead of the game on a lot of stuff sometimes. Yeah, definitely with riding style.
So it could be coming.
Yeah, it could be happening. That's a good question. It's amazing now with the 29-inch wheels coming in on the downhill bikes, like every little bit, like say the marginal gains is becoming so important. I can't imagine they're going to miss that kind of tech.
Definitely not, no.
No. James Griffiths says, does it matter what chain you put on if you've moved from 3x7 to 1x11?
Yes, it does, because on a 3x7 setup, the chain is significantly thicker, wider than it is on 11 speed. 11 speed, the chain has to flex and it has to cover a lot more range of gear, so you do need an 11 speed specific chain.
Yeah, and with chains, just get the right one, because chain snap,
that's not.
We've all got a chain snap horror story.
Well, how many World Cup chains went in the weekend?
Yeah, it's a big problem. How haven't they fixed this problem yet? It's incredible.
It still happens.
It's incredible. Luke Priss says, my hands keep knocking my bar ends off. Well, I've spotted one problem already, but I'll come back to that. Do I need wider bars or should I move my brakes in further? My bars are around 700mm wide. Well, I mean, can I just point out, maybe just let the bar ends stay off?
Yeah, bin them off.
I mean, bin them off.
Probably don't need those.
Bar ends in this shed is like a swear word. But, I mean, it's up to you, man. It's up to you. But that's my advice. Doddy, have you got something more constructive?
Perhaps wider bars if you insist on running the bar ends. If he's only got 700.
Some people love
narrow.
them. Some people love bar ends. I think it's like driving a bus. That's all I'm saying.
Is that how they do bus drivers?
I think so, yeah, you do that. That's what, yeah. I'm going to get Blake to try and land that trick. Sorry, dude, I got off subject there. Wider bars, I think, is the answer you're looking for. Kona Rider 1 says, is it possible to use non-tubeless specific tyres on a tubeless setup?
Yes, it is. There is a...
Oh, is that right? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you don't have to. The original conversion kits by Stans, you could use any tyre technically, but a cheaper tyre is going to have a slightly more open weave. So you can lose pressure and sealant, which is expensive.
Yeah,
So,
and annoying.
in an ideal world, you want a tubeless ready tyre, specific tubeless tyre, but you can, yes.
Oh, I didn't know you could just jump on board with a tubeless with, that's pretty cool.
Can indeed.
Pretty cool. Jake Little says, I use my bike for transport, but I also use it for uphill and downhill trails. What type of bike should he get? You know, he's going to move on, I guess. Is there an ideal bike for transport and cross-country?
There's a bit of stream. So
Yeah.
There's a lot of bikes out there.
It's difficult, isn't it? Great idea, though. We could throw you to a video of which bike you should use for which discipline, so take a look.
This is a full suspension cross-country bike, something that people would race on marathon races, probably longer distance than the pure thoroughbred cross-country bike. The full suspension is a more comfortable ride. You're going to get slightly more grip on the rear tyre as the tyre tracks the fall a little bit better. Obviously the payoff is slightly more weight.
This next question is slightly controversial. I'm a bit worried about this one, Doddy, so hold tight. Nath Furtz wants to know, can Rachel Atherton carry her winning streak over from Lords because she's crashed at Fort William in practice, but not in the race? So technically she hasn't been beaten in a race, in Nath's opinion. Does the winning streak get carried over? Wow, you're keeping tight-lipped on this. You're going to leave it with me, aren't you?
I'm staying out of this one.
I don't think you can. She went to the event, she practiced like everyone else. She got hurt practicing, it's a shame, but she lost. She got beat. I'm putting it out there. I feel vulnerable. Mountain bike world turns against Martin.
You are vulnerable.
That's what I think. That if you guys disagree, let us know in the comment section down below. Does Rachel's winning streak carry on if she wins her next race? I don't think she does, but you know, I'd like to hear what you guys think on that one. Casper Farquhar, moving us on from that question quickly, says, are there any disadvantages to running bigger discs? And if not, why doesn't everyone run 203 discs?
I wouldn't say there's any advantages or disadvantages in disc size, other than the fact that you don't really want to have a massive disc rotor on a, say, a lightweight cross-country bike, because you're going to be locking the wheels up all the time. Those guys doing the gravity fixed riding, they need more braking power and modulation. And if you notice at the World Cups now, they're starting to bring in 29-inch wheels on the bigger bikes. They need up to 20mm discs to increase their braking power. So it's down to the riding that you do, really. I like a 180 at the back and a 203 on the front. So I don't want to lock up my back brake all the time.
Okay. Tom Van Keenel says, hey guys, I was watching the World Cup downhill at Leergang and noticed that the riders back pedal on the start hut. And why are they doing that?
Well, there was only a handful. Not everyone does that, to be honest.
I mean, I think it's that the guys have just come off the turbo trainers because they warmed up a lot before they race down the hill. So they're still pretty hot and they're trying to keep that heat in their legs. Or we were discussing it earlier.
Maybe they're just seeing if they've still got the chain on.
We think they might be just checking the chains on because that is the worst thing out the start gate. Also a bit nervous tension, just like, oh my goodness. You know, that there's a lot of things going on there. It's a very nervous time at the top of the hill.
We need to ask them.
Yeah, we should ask those questions. Leon Rubin says, did Neil manage to get through the muddy section at Fort William? Oh, I want to say.
But he wasn't allowed to.
He wasn't allowed. He was so psyched for it. He was so psyched for it. He wanted to get it. He thought he could get it as well. He was very confident. He's a good rider, Neil. But yeah, he got up there and there was just a guy there with some tape. Was like, sorry lads, no riding today. He was well upset. But we did get a video of Neil walking through that section, which was incredibly hard, wasn't it? Amazing.
He could barely walk through it, to be
He
honest.
could barely walk through it. Check this out, and let's come up with this question. You know, is this the hardest downhill section in mountain biking ever?
I'm going to walk down this section of the course. I'm actually not going to walk down the middle of the course, it's too difficult. Show you how bad it is. Ugh. Well, that mud is over my ankles already, and this is the section that was actually changed in practice. You see this horrible bog. There was a big root there that was keeping everything in there, so people were dropping and going straight over, but it didn't get much better for the race.
Quick fire round. Doddy, you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Right, this guy asks, why does downhill rear shocks need to have a lockout option?
I don't strictly need a lockout, but in some of the World Cups that have got to pedal hard, it's a good option, and some of the top riders are choosing to have that retrofitted to their bikes.
Marginal gains. Zach Reeder says, is it a bad idea to ride an enduro bike at a downhill park? Will it hurt the bike?
As long as you're not doing the biggest drops and landing too badly, they can cope with most of that stuff. So no, I think carry on.
Very capable bikes. Alan Sangmar says, do I need to use unicorn tears to keep grime from instantly building up on my jockey wheels?
Most definitely, there's nothing on earth that can stop that grime building up.
There's no solution.
It just happens.
Unicorn tears.
Part of mountain biking.
Great question. Leonardo Harron says, why do people tuck their ears into their snapback hats? Oh, I don't know the answer.
You need to ask Blake.
We need to ask Blake that question because he's forever doing it.
Yeah.
But he has got gigantic ears. Don't know if you've ever noticed that. Angus Cagney says, I ride an enduro around my area using flats, but may start racing. Should I switch to clips?
Clips are a good idea. You've got to be a little bit more committed in the way you ride certain things. It's going to make you a better rider if you can ride both. So I would say, yeah, give it a try.
Yeah, all you guys who can use clips say that. Time for Correct Me If I'm Wrong, a little bit of the show where we take a look at videos of you riding and see if we can tweak it, fix some things, give you some advice. And Doddy, I'm going to start you off with this one. Classic bunny hop video. Ethan Powell, he's 15 and he's trying to get better at bunny hops. So
That's it.
what do you think of this? Lycra's using the two planks to help him get some oh, he's got quite a kick on it, isn't it?
Yes, I would say it looks like you're picking up the back end before your front wheels got high enough.
Yeah.
So perhaps practice that sort of manual part of the hop.
Yeah.
But it's definitely getting a back end lift on that.
Yeah, and bunny hops is a classic move in mountain biking. It's something that you really need, and once you can do it really well, is such a benefit. So take a quick look at this video from Neil, who's showing us how to bunny hop a mountain bike.
Something like a really slippy route or a rock section, rather than driving the bike into these things, you start taking weight off the wheels, maybe jumping that section completely, or maybe just unweighting slightly so you're carrying speed over these edges. Also, it's the key technique you need to use to make height on a jump.
And lastly, on Correct Me If I'm Wrong this week, we've got Jason Powers with some cross-country bike jumping like this. You don't see cross-country guys jumping like this very often. And he wants to know how he can improve it. But I don't know, I think he's got pretty good style on this actually. Whoop. Look at that.
It looks almost too comfortable on a size jump, to be honest.
Nino Schurter-esque.
Bigger jump he needs.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Bigger jump, you're gonna have more time for style.
Not much you can do on a jump that small.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So
step it up.
it's time to go bigger. Sorry, Jason. Thanks so much for watching AskGMBN this week. Keep those questions coming. You can put them in the comment section down below this video for next week, or you can send them to ask@gmbn.com or use the hashtag AskGMBN. And we'll get those questions and we'll do our very best to answer them. But thanks for watching this week.
If you want to watch a video on are e-bikes fun, click right down here.
And you can click on this video here to see Choosing a Line with Andrew Neveling. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking just there.
And don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you like the video.